It is often said that nobody is perfect, and this includes some of the most revered and respected individuals in history. While these figures may appear admirable at first glance, upon closer inspection, their true character flaws and problematic behaviors become apparent. Despite their many accomplishments and positive contributions to society, these individuals were far from perfect. Whether it be their personal lives, political views, or questionable actions, their flaws cannot be ignored. While it may be disappointing to discover the unsavory aspects of these historical figures, it is important to acknowledge the complexity of human beings and the impact that their actions, both good and bad, have had on the world. Join us as we take a look at some heroes that were actually villains. Winston Churchill is widely known for his leadership during World War II, where he rallied the British people to stand against the German forces. However, Churchill's legacy is not without its controversies. In Richard Toye's book, Churchill's Empire, it was revealed that Churchill had a history of white supremacist beliefs. As a young man, he participated in what he called jolly little wars against barbarous peoples in Africa, where he believed that the violent response of Africans towards the British was due to their inherent aboriginal propensity to slay. As a member of Parliament, Churchill advocated for war against minorities and claimed that the Aryan stock was bound to triumph. He even went as far as to suggest the use of poisoned gas against uncivilized tribes, like the Kurds, who were trying to gain independence from Britain. Churchill was also critical of Mahatma Gandhi's nonviolent efforts to rid India of British rule, referring to Indians as beastly people with a beastly religion. In 1943, during a severe famine in India that claimed the lives of around 3 million people, Churchill refused to provide aid and instead blamed the Indians, saying they were breeding like rabbits. Mahatma Gandhi, known for his philosophy of nonviolent resistance and his leadership in India's struggle for independence from British rule, had a dark secret. According to his biographer Jad Adams, Gandhi was addicted to sex. He even abandoned his dying father to make love to his wife when he was just 15 years old. The guilt of leaving his father on his deathbed haunted him for the rest of his life, causing him to renounce lustful love forever. However, that was not the case. At the age of 38, Gandhi took an official vow of chastity, but often tested it in unusual and creepy ways. He preferred to sleep naked next to women, which was clearly inappropriate, especially considering that some of the women were young enough to be his daughters. Despite his own questionable behavior, he expected every Indian to practice strict chastity and never marry. If they absolutely had to marry, they should not make love with their spouses. In his compounds, his married followers were segregated and forbidden from making. Despite his own questionable behavior, he expected every Indian to practice strict chastity and while Gandhi is revered as a great leader, his personal life was far from perfect. His addiction to sex and his hypocritical views on chastity and marriage are aspects of his life that are often overlooked but should not be forgotten. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, is often credited for revolutionizing the tech industry with his innovative ideas. However, according to the documentary Steve Jobs, The Man in the Machine, Jobs was known to be ruthless and even cruel in his business practices. Jobs fathered a daughter, but initially denied her paternity, resulting in her not seeing him for several years. He also contracted Apple with Chinese factories that had deplorable working conditions, which led to several workers taking their own lives due to the relentless pace at which they were expected to churn out Apple products. When a journalist returned a missing iPhone prototype to Jobs, he had the journalist's home raided and all of his files and computers confiscated, instead of being grateful for the phone's return. While these figures may have made significant contributions to history, it is important to acknowledge their flaws and problematic beliefs to have a more complete understanding of their impact on society. Abraham Lincoln is known as the Great Emancipator, the man who signed the Emancipation Proclamation and helped to end slavery in America. But some people claim that he was actually quite racist. According to these critics, Lincoln believed that slavery was morally wrong, but that had nothing to do with his view of the slaves themselves. In fact, in 1858, when he defeated Stephen Douglas in the Illinois Senate race. Lincoln made his opinion on the matter quite clear. He stated that he was not in favor of bringing about any social or political equality between white and black people. He even went so far as to say that he opposed black people having the right to vote or to intermarry with whites. That being said, Lincoln did believe that all men had the right to improve their position in society, and because of that, he felt that slavery was totally unjust. But here's something many people don't know about Lincoln. He was a tremendous supporter of colonization. He may have believed that if the entire continent of Africa were colonized by United States citizens, the problem of slavery would just vanish. In 1854, Lincoln openly advocated for colonization and said that his first decree would be to free all slaves in America and ship them to Liberia. Liberia was actually founded as an African state by the American Colonization Society in 1821. Lincoln even hosted a delegation in 1862 of recently freed men and women to discuss a plan for the colonization of Central America. He argued that it would be better to turn Central America into one big U.S. colony where many freed slaves could be sent. In his own words, it would be better for everyone. Nikola Tesla, hailed as one of the greatest inventors in human history, was not only a genius, but also a man with some very disturbing ideas. He had peculiar beliefs about how the world should operate and even had detailed plans on how to put those ideas into motion. One of Tesla's unsettling notions was that criminals and the mentally ill should be forcibly sterilized to prevent them from reproducing. He went so far as to criticize countries like Nazi Germany and the US for not going far enough with their treatment of undesirable members of society. In his opinion, eugenics, the science of improving the human race by selective breeding, would become a universally established system by the year 2100. Tesla's vision for eugenics was not only extreme, but also reminiscent of Hitler's ideas. He believed in using sterilization and even extermination to purify the human race. He argued that in the past, only the fittest had survived, but with man's newfound sense of pity, the unfit were continuing to breed when they should be restricted from having children. In his quest for human perfection, Tesla also suggested making marriage impossible for criminals. These ideas may have seemed radical even in Tesla's time, and they certainly do not align with modern values of human rights and dignity. Despite his genius as an inventor, it is clear that Tesla's thoughts on eugenics were deeply flawed and disturbing. In the 1980s, physicist Evan Walker Harris made a controversial claim about Albert Einstein. According to Harris, Einstein's first wife, Mileva Merrick, was actually the silent co-author of his paper on special relativity in 1905. Harris suggested that Einstein couldn't have figured it out on his own and needed Merrick's help. He even went so far as to say that Einstein may have stolen his wife's ideas and then ghosted her, later divorcing her without acknowledging her contributions. However, most historians and physicists rejected Harris's claims, including Galina Weinstein at the Center for Einstein Studies at Boston University. She firmly believes in Einstein's genius, citing letters written by both Einstein and Merrick that indicate they didn't work together on anything related to physics. Instead, Merrick was more like a confidant who Einstein talked to and bounced ideas off of. It's difficult to say which version of events is true. While Einstein was undoubtedly a brilliant physicist, it's possible that he received some help from his first wife. Nevertheless, it's also possible that he truly was a genius who came up with his groundbreaking theories all on his own. The truth may never be known for certain, but there does seem to be something intriguing and mysterious about the relationship between Einstein and Merrick. Walt Disney, a name synonymous with entertainment and creativity, was born in 1901 at the dawn of the 20th century. Over the course of 65 years, he became a business magnate and an icon in the film industry. However, Disney's legacy is not as spotless as his public image may suggest. In 1928, Disney sketched a mouse, which would become the beloved character Mickey Mouse. But originally, he had intended to name the mouse Mortimer. Fortunately, Disney's wife, Lily convinced him that Mortimer was too pretentious and that Mickey was a much cuter name. Despite his groundbreaking success and positive impact on popular culture, Walt Disney was not immune to controversy. There have long been rumors of Disney's alleged anti-Semitism and racism. In the 1930s, Disney attended meetings of the pro-Nazi organization, the German-American Bund. He even gave a personal tour of Disney Studios to a known Nazi propagandist and filmmaker, Leni Riefenstahl. Furthermore, Disney was accused of perpetuating harmful racial stereotypes in his films. While many critics were quick to condemn Disney's behavior, he had his fair share of supporters who denied these accusations. Nevertheless, the debate about Disney's potential discrimination and racism continues to this day. Who's your favorite historical figure who had a serious dark side? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like these, and I'll see you next time on Time Capsule.